Hi, thank you for joining me for Kingdom Minutes. I'm Michelle Snyder of the East Coast Healing Center. If you need prayer, you can call me at 610-781-6332 or contact me through email at eastcoasthealingcenter.pa@gmail.com. You can subscribe to this channel by clicking that subscribe button at the lower right side of your screen, and I invite you to do that so you can stay on top of upcoming events, announcements, live streams, tent revivals, all the cool things we've got coming up this year. So stay in touch. So thank you for joining me today because we are talking about the topic of wineskins. So join with me in Matthew 9. And this is where Jesus was at the table in a house, and he was dining with tax collectors and sinners. And the Pharisees saw it, and they came to him, and they said in verse 11, "And when the Pharisees saw it, they said to his disciples, 'Why does your teacher eat with tax collectors and sinners?'" Now notice they said, "He's your teacher." He's not our teacher or the teacher. He's your teacher. So they rejected his teachings. They rejected him. That was religion, right? It's what religion does. It rejects truth and it tries to mold it into something else to make it more palatable for people that it benefits. Anyway, so the second question they say is, "And why aren't your disciples fasting?" Again, emphasizing that they wanted no part of his teachings because his teachings didn't do what they were traditionally used to doing, fasting, and I guess they fasted twice a week and all those things. Now, Jesus' response, he said, that the disciples wouldn't fast, and that the reason why he came to the tax collectors and sinners, he said, it's because those who are well have no need of a physician, but he desires mercy, not sacrifice, for he did not come to call the righteous, but sinners. Well, they thought, the religious leaders thought that they were righteous. So how could he impart righteousness to them if they already thought they had it? And second, they wouldn't fast because the bridegroom was with them. So Jesus goes on to say, "No one puts a piece of unshrunk cloth on an old garment, or a new cloth on an old garment. For the patch pulls away from the garment, and the tear is made worse. Nor do they put new wine into old wineskins, or else the wineskins break, and the wine is spilled, and the wineskins are ruined. But they put new wine into new wineskins, and both are preserved." Both the wine and the wineskin is preserved. So the new wine would destroy the old wineskins. And that's what it means to be born again, or born from above. We get a new wineskin that can contain the kingdom of God, that can contain the Spirit of God, because the old container that we were could not have contained the Spirit of God. It would have spoiled it, and it would have not had, the kingdom would not have the proper effect that it should because of that old wineskin and the way it was. I'm not going to get into that right now. But if I'm not a new creation, then, or a new wineskin, I can't contain the glory of the kingdom of God. The wineskin had to be changed. I had to be changed. You had to be changed, or both would be ruined. One of the reasons the kingdom of God was never introduced in the Old Testament, you don't hear kingdom of God or kingdom of heaven ever mentioned that way in the Old Testament. They mention kingdom, the kingdom is mentioned, but never kingdom of God or kingdom of heaven in the Old Testament or the Old Covenant. It's because it couldn't contain it. There was no renewal of things. Their sins were never completely washed away. They were just covered until the time that Christ would come. And we know that Jeremiah 31, starting in verse 33, as well as Hebrews 10:16, it says, "This is the new covenant that I will make with them after those days, says the Lord. I will put my laws into their hearts and in their minds. I will write them," he says. And he adds, "their sins and their lawless deeds I will remember no more." So we needed a new nature, as we talked about in the last video, a new heart and a new mind, so that we could have the mind of Christ and contain the resurrection power of Christ. So I would like you to ponder this throughout this week. Think about all the various areas in your life where you are not the same person that you were before you came to Christ. All of the different areas where your mind has been renewed or your desires have changed. Or at least they should have. There should be a difference between who you are now than who you were BC, before Christ, right? Me, I was a very critical person. My mouth always got me in trouble. I was very negative, and that's what I grew up around. Everything was negative. But now, redeemed in the kingdom and used by God, I can teach his kingdom and teach his truths, and God can use me as his instrument. So that's just an example of a transformation, but we are to be transformed spirit, soul, and body. You are a container for the kingdom of God, for the power of God, for the resurrection life of God. So remember that the kingdom of God is inside you.